Let's move on. Let's talk about D'Anton Lynn at USC, heading over by way of UCLA. He's not gonna have to move his house, which is pretty nice. Just going from one LA school to the other. Look, USC, it is no secret, and we talked about D'Anton Lynn before, right? This is not something new, right? I think this is kind of like one of the bigger hires in the offseason for sure. Yeah, we're gonna put him on this list. Of course. He was unbelievable at UCLA. It's unbelievable. And the reality was too, it's like you look at the USC and the UCLA defenses and you notice a huge difference. One team was a lot more physical than the other. And that team was UCLA. That team was coached by D'Anton Lynn. So I there's already talent at on this USC defense, some, but can you maximize it? Can you get these guys to buy in? Can you scheme these guys in good positions and really make use of their talents? I don't know, but I think D'Anton Lynn was a great hire because you know that you had to get rid of Alex Grinch. You know you had to. I think D'Anton Lynn was a fantastic hire, and you didn't have to go far to get him.
No, he understands the recruiting landscape. He understands the LA market. He understands, and you ever see you're both moving from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. Obviously, be the change type of there, but I think he also understands, you know, what needs to be changed here at USC, and I don't think he takes the job if he didn't really believe in what he was preached to by Lincoln Riley, that the culture is changing, that they're putting emphasis on defense, that this, and that need to happen in order for him to even have a chance to come in there and do it. Obviously, you love his the bloodlines. Obviously, Anthony Lynn, his father, head coach for the Chargers a couple years ago, very good defensive mind there. He's got NFL experience. Obviously, once he went to the UCLA, he obviously fantastic job, like you said, Latu, among others, and a team, a year where UCLA had just a lackluster offense, very, very lackluster. You had a head coach that was pretty much checked out at the door in Chip Kelly, and you were over there running your side of the football and doing a damn good job, especially against the run, which USC needs help in. 69 yards per
Bad.
game. 69 yards per game for UCLA. That's incredible. 2.3 yards per rush. 3.4 sacks per game. Not yes, you have Latu to help with that sack number, but regardless of it's team effort, that's fundamentals, that's coaching, understanding who you're playing, things that seem to be missing under Lincoln Riley for a while now, and you need it more than ever. And by the way, not only we mentioned with Bo Davis and Corey Raymond to throw that in the Blake Davis, the Blake Baker hire, but let's throw Matt Entz in the D'Anton Lynn hire. That's a guy that comes over,
Yeah.
head football coach from North Dakota State, 86% winning percentage, two national temp, two national championships. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. 32-7 in league play. I love it. I think that's an absolute commitment to running the program the right way and understanding that the defensive philosophy needed a change. What say you?
Dude, I'm 100% in agreement with you. And like to touch on the rushing stats, for comparison, USC was giving up almost 5 yards per carry, over 185 yards per game, both in the bottom quartile of all of college football. It's terrible. That's terrible, man. And you brought in some transfers that you really thought were going to be some nice talent, and you had some linebackers that you brought in there as well. You're like, wow, we have some maybe some talent in this front seven, and it just did not work, man. It just did not work. I don't know, like, yeah, we talk about the mentality aspect of it, but and I don't know enough about scheme, but it feels like Grinch, he was just never good. Like he just was never good. It felt like he never put anyone in a good position, you know? So I'm just maybe I'm spewing, but like I don't think it's a secret that this is a gigantic upgrade. So I'm all in on this hire. I think it was really good. Even just as valuable as it was getting D'Anton Lynn, it's also stealing D'Anton Lynn from UCLA. Like that's a big deal. Like not only is it like haha, like who's the premier program in Los Angeles, but it's this is another member of their coaching staff that UCLA doesn't have. It's an in-state rival. It's now a conference rival heading to the new conference. Like there's levels to this that you got to score it. Almost even you want to evaluate a coaching hire based on how good the coach is, but there are layers to this, and it's really nice added extra piece of cheese there between your two patties and your double cheeseburger.
Yeah, Deshaun Foster would have loved to have a guy like D'Anton Lynn on his staff in year one, and obviously a lot of changes needed at UCLA, but D'Anton Lynn was the one of the bright spots there, and then I'm sure uh, UCLA fans are like pretty upset about. I love yeah, you brought that up. That's fantastic. Kick your rival while they're down. Um, do you so? I guess here's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like there's a little bit of a different tone when we're talking about D'Anton Lynn and USC and Blake Baker and LSU, both programs, elite offenses, very good, well respected coaches, talented teams, high expectations. What's the disconnect there? Obviously, D'Anton Lynn, we saw maybe yes, maybe he's a little bit better coach than Blake Baker. Who knows? You could be picking straws there. But and if you ask me, like Lynn might even have more of a job to do at UCLA, USC than Baker does at LSU. What's the difference there? Like Lynn, we're super confident in. I guess maybe not what's the difference, but like Lynn, we feel good. What is it going to take a year? Is it going to take 2 years? Is it going to just flip a switch and the talent in the room is just going to obviously rise to the top? What's gonna happen here in the next couple of years for USC? And like, why are you so confident in this hire, or why do you like
You
this
know,
hire?
the Blake Baker versus D'Anton Lynn is a very good point. Like if someone was to approach me like, "Hey, why do you like Dan Lynn so much more than Blake Baker?" By the way, I like Blake Baker. Like that whole last segment that we had about him, like that wasn't to hate on Blake Baker, but I've honestly been playing devil's advocate for all of these guys. So uh, but I think the level that D'Anton Lynn was able to elevate his team versus Blake Baker, like it was two different levels, right? It was a top five defense, top 10 defense versus a fringe top 25, top 30 defense. Okay. And you could argue that the Pac 12 was one of the best offensive team or offensive conferences in the entire country, right? Like, and now could you say, I had someone bring this up with me too. It's like, oh, we're Pac 12 quarterbacks so good because the Pac 12 secondaries were so bad. It was like, maybe, maybe, but UCLA secondary wasn't that great, and they still had success. And like,
Ask NFL GMs. Ask NFL GMs what you think
oh
about the Pac-12 quarterbacks. We saw three of them go in the top 12.
yeah, so I'm of the perspective, yeah, Blake Baker was coaching the SEC. Yeah, he elevated his team. Yeah, he did pretty well against Georgia, like actually solidly well until Carson Beck put his wiener on the table, which who called it? But that's for another time. Anyways, yeah, so I think it's very recency bias, right? There's a lot of recency bias involved in that. So yeah, so if someone's going to criticize me for, hey, if you like D'Anton Lynn, how could you not like Blake Baker as much? I respect that argument, and I'm not going to like backlash you for having that take at all. But this is definitely a feel thing and also recency bias, which is a huge thing in any kind of coaching hire system, right? Like when we talk about like, yeah, we really try to like put ourselves in the shoes of these schools in the positions, and we try to talk about fit, and we try to talk about success and all that, right? But like recency bias is a real thing, right? I was just looking at a head coaching rankings heading in 2024 by College Football News. Uh, Pete Fiudak does a great job over there. Definitely should check him out. But he had Jed Fish ranked 38th and then Mike Elko 44th, right? And you're like, there's a huge level of recency bias there if you're going to put Jed Fish over Mike Elko, right? So, which is understandable too, though. Like, I mean, Jed Fish was fantastic at Arizona. And like like we talk about Mike Elko not doing more with less. Like Jed Fish did the same exact thing, but I think it's just it's preference, it's recency bias, it's feel, it's fit. Uh, the other thing is, yeah, D'Anton Lynn knows the market. He's there. He's already on the recruiting trails. He's recruiting the same exact players geographically that he was before. Like, I mean, to a degree. Blake Baker was as well, but I don't know. And who knows? Like neither of those could work out for either team, but I don't know. I'm a big we're a fan of both. I mean, they're in this video, so good luck to those
Obviously,
guys.
I do think part of it too is just USC. While there is super high standards, I do think their over under win total is 7.5, and like that's not way less than a 9.5 for LSU in terms of expectations of college football playoffs. You know, USC is replacing a lot more so just Caleb Williams and some other pieces there, Marshawn Lloyd and some others. But I I think Lynn, what he can do there is I think he's going to be able to build the program the right way and not kind of be rushed into, needing to win for expectations in year one. Now, year two is a different story, obviously. Um, with USC, they're going to expect to compete, obviously, as they should. I mean, you're paying Lincoln Riley, D'Anton Lynn a lot of money. So we'll see here. But I was just very, very impressed with this hire for USC. I mean, I feel confident in that it's going to work, and that this is a change, a commitment, and I keep using that word commitment by Lincoln Riley to defense and to winning national title and to competing in the Big Ten and all that good stuff that they should be doing, obviously.